there's one thing I've learned being on lockdown for 2 months now, wearing nothing but PJs and sweatpants, it's that jeans are evil. We spend all our time yanking them up, pulling them down, being uncomfortable. They're basically just a denim prison. I am done. So now seems like the perfect time to go in search of my dress of dreams. I have a long and difficult relationship with sleep. It doesn't come naturally to me, but over the years I've learned to put myself to bed like a child. However, under lockdown, for some reason, it's come back with a vengeance and sleep is not forthcoming, so excuse me if I'm slurping coffee throughout this. One of the benefits of not sleeping is that there was plenty of time to research patterns, and it was during one of these epic nighttime scrolling sessions that I came across the French Poetry Pleiades dress. This is it. This is the dress I've been looking for. It comes in 2 different variations with loads of different options for sleeves, hemlines, necklines. It's got a little nod towards vintage. It's not too form-fitting. It's nice and easy to wear, really comfortable, perfect. I bought the version 1 and I set about making it with some beautiful double gauze from Like So Amazing. I'd never worked with double gauze before, and although I enjoy working with it and I love the result, I don't really enjoy wearing it that much. I find it a bit warm and it's a bit kind of cotton woolly feeling against my skin. It makes me feel a bit funny. So it's not my dress of dreams yet. I went with just plain 3/4 length sleeves so as I could still put a cardigan over it in the autumn. I used some of my vintage button stash for the front, which made me very happy. And I am living for this ruffle. I love a bloody big ruffle. If you've watched my other videos, you will know by now that I can be a little bit of a lazy sewist. So I did try to eliminate the zip that goes down the back of the version 1. Didn't work out too well for me because although it's easy to get on, it is pretty difficult to get back off. So for the next one, I'm going to suck it up and put in a zip. They're really not that hard. I don't know why I put it off. I also made several adjustments to the bodice pattern as I was working, even after the toile stage. And I thought, I'll remember what those were. I've totally forgotten. With the fabric I've chosen for Dress of Dreams number 2, I really don't want to get it wrong. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of detective work to try and work out what it was I did. Always, always, always write down any adjustments that you've made to your pattern. Even just jot them down on your pattern pieces. Lesson learned. So let me tell you a story. Growing up, I had 0 strong feelings about unicorns whatsoever. For some reason though, some years ago, people just started to associate them with me. I was being tagged in posts and memes about unicorns, being sent unicorn gifts. I don't really know what happened, but I will take that. I don't mind being the unicorn lady. So when I saw this ex-designer rayon from Sew Me Sunshine, I knew this was the one. I want it on my body like right now. I mean, look at that. Teeny tiny unicorns. From a distance, you might not know what it is. It probably look quite sophisticated, but then you get up close and unicorns. So I'm struggling to decide on a sleeve. Although the pattern comes with some really pretty sleeve options, I really like to be able to just throw a cardigan over the top of a dress. So if there's bulky bits, then that limits you to only wearing it on its own in the summer. So I think I'm going to go for just a either short or 3/4 length sleeve. Yes, I like that decision. I'm also going to make it a tiny bit longer this time, so I'm going to add a little bit to my skirt pieces. And then be aware as well, if you want to do the version with the ruffle doesn't come as a pattern piece, but the pattern does give you some very clear instructions on how to make that piece yourself. Let's do this. This time she really is my dress of dreams. I just adore this dress. This fabric was so nice to work with, and the way it moves is just glorious. It feels so nice on the body, and for a hot day particularly, it's going to feel really nice and cool. And the drape on it, the way it moves, look at that, look at that. Woohoo! They say, don't they, that the majority of road traffic accidents happen within the last few miles of home, and I think the same is definitely true for sewing. I was loving this so much as I was constructing it that I was terrified that at the last minute I was going to catch a bit of the skirt in the overlocker or something. But I didn't. I took my time, and here she is, and she's beautiful. Construction is quite straightforward for the Pleiades dress. It's absolutely fine for a beginner, and it's a good way to learn a few skills like the gathers and the front section with the facing here. Always pay attention to your pattern placement. I think I avoided unicorn nipples. No, I didn't, did I? No, I've got unicorn nipples, but my zip went in first time. I don't know why I always try and avoid zips, because they really aren't that difficult at all. And maybe I'll do a tutorial video on those one day for you guys as well. Don't be scared of zips. I do kind of wish that I'd done one of the fancy sleeve options now that I see her finished, especially with this fabric. I think it would have looked really pretty. I stand by my decision though, because I do like to be able to put a cardigan on over the top, either for a cool summer evening or to wear it in the autumn as well. It would look really nice actually. It's not one of the options, but with the indigo sleeve, with the frill, I think that would be a really nice option on this dress to match the frill at the bottom. Word of caution on the frill though, it is enormous. So when it comes to doing your gathering, don't do what I did and try and gather it all in one go, because you'll be doing it forever. Maybe think about dividing it up into 4 sections, so your gather stitches have a beginning and an end at each sort of quarter of the ruffle. That way you're not having to gather it all in one go. You can do it a little bit at a time. That would make it much easier. When you're cutting out for your Pleiades dress, do pay close attention to the marks on the pattern, the notches, the circles, particularly around your sleeve head. On this pattern, the sleeve doesn't go together as you might expect, mainly because this seam sits forward where it's ruched at the front here. So do make sure you put all your markings on and know what they all mean. I think the hardest part of construction is probably the centre front. I tend to go for a little bit of a scoop, a very gentle scoop, rather than the point, because the point is very difficult to get right, whereas this tends to be a little bit easier, and it looks quite nice against the body as well. I was particularly happy to be able to dig through my vintage button stash again and to pop these little beauties on. I really love those, and they're a nice little detail. I did disobey the pattern instructions slightly. They would have you put the sleeves in on the round, whereas I find it much easier to put them in flat. I just changed the order slightly to do it that way, sewed the side seam with the sleeve included, and it worked a treat. I was sitting looking at this on the mannequin last night and thinking, actually, my next one, I might do a little bit of colour blocking, because none of it is cut on the fold, because this is all separate pieces. It would look really pretty with sort of a different colour on each section, and maybe a different colour for the frill, maybe a little bit of a kind of pastel-y Battenberg cake kind of vibe to it. So that might be a project for the future as well. So this is the French Poetry Pleiades version 1. The version 2 is a little bit different. The skirt is very similar, but the front has a button placket with buttons that actually work, and there's different options for collars and pussy bows. I think I might invest in that one to do a little bit of experimentation with as well, because I love this one so much and I'm going to get so much wear out of it that it would be nice to have a few different options. And this is a pattern which is going to be used again and again. I think it's going to become one of my tried and true. Free yourself from your denim prison!